Hey guys, so today is a really super exciting video for me to film. I posted up a picture recently on my Instagram in regards to, let me find it, this little sponge, which is known as the Cake and Bake sponge. This was created by JcMakeupmaster and Vera underscore Mona. I'll actually put their information underneath. So I put a picture up of this sponge and this concealer, which I absolutely love when it comes to concealing and highlighting. So this is exactly what this video is about. So baking is what I love to do with this little guy. So baking was actually a trend that originated from the drag queens. It's when you apply a super excessive amount of translucent setting powder in your under eyes, down the bridge of your nose, wherever you like to highlight at. So I wanted to create a video showing you how I like to bake, how I like to contour, highlight, conceal even, and blush. So I hope you enjoy. Remember to subscribe, like, comment below if you have any questions or even recommendations on what you'd like to see. So after applying my moisturizer, primer, and foundation, I go in with Tarte's Shape Tape Concealer in Light. I always choose a couple shades lighter than my normal skin tone just because that's what brings out your highlight. So I go in with this highlighter and apply it in a kind of like a down over diagonal shape. Down over and diagonal. So that's it for my under eyes. And then I go down the bridge of my nose, kind of like 3 prongs. And then a little dab in my chin. Now I'm going to go in with a wet Cake and Bake sponge and blend it all out. This sponge is amazing when it comes to blending out your concealer and baking. It gets right up in the corner of your eye in those hard to reach places. So I'm just gonna blend this out. So now that that's all blended out, I'm going to go in with the Mercier Translucent Setting Powder. This is my favorite when it comes to baking, especially for oily skin. So I am just going to take what's kind of sifted off into the top of the container and dip my wet Cake and Bake sponge in there and just pick up a little tiny bit at the end. I'm gonna go underneath my eyes, just kind of pat it on there. Now I kind of like to blanket when I bake, so I'm just doing this thin little layer just to kind of set a base for the main baking. I find that helps a lot. And then I'm going to go into the actual container and pick up quite a bit more powder. Basically, it is coated the whole end of my Cake and Bake sponge. So now I'm going to go in and pat exactly where I just patted. Pick up a little more for the other side. I tend to get a lot of wear off on the tip of my nose, so I really like to focus the powder on there. My chin. And let it sit for about 5 to 10 minutes. So in that meantime, I like to reach for my bronzer. So today I'm using the Tarte Park Avenue Princess bronzer. I'm actually going to apply this with a My Makeup Brush Set oval brush. So I'm just gonna pick up a little bit of product, focus right at the top of my ear down towards the edge of my mouth. I like contouring with powder, especially because I have oily skin. I'm gonna go in with a little bit more just to help blend it out with a Coastal Scents stippling brush. So now you can definitely already see the face kind of slimming down. So I'm going to go in with a little teeny tiny My Makeup Brush set brush and contour the sides of my nose. So definitely having that baking setting powder down the bridge of your nose helps you kind of see where your edges are. Helps you kind of contour a little better. Just gonna go in and lightly dust it on. All the way to the edge. And kind of like crisscross it. Again with the stippling brush, just to gently blend that out. And I do like to add a little bit of bronzer just to my kind of like upper temples up here. So again, with the same stippling brush, I'm just gonna kind of warm up the rest of my face. This is one of my favorite bronzers just because it's a really muted brown color. It's not too ashy and it's not too orangey. So it definitely looks good with a lot of different skin tones. And it has a little bit of shimmer in it. So now I'm going to go back to my Fake Bake Sponge, pick up a little bit more powder, and then go right underneath where I just applied my contour and kind of sharpen it up. So from like my earlobe down to my chin. You can see how it kind of adds a little bit more definition. It's going right underneath that contour. So I just get to the point where I'm done with my contour, my baking is setting, and I just, again, let it set for about 10 minutes. I'm just taking a fluffy brush from Cover FX and just sweeping it away. Underneath the contour, just kind of going up and even blending it a little bit more. Alright, I'm baked. Alright, so going in with the Tarte Paint Collector's palette, I am using this contour color shade. Picking up a little bit of it with a blush brush from Coastal Scents and just following the shape of the brush. So I'm laying it this direction on my face and just following up on my cheekbone, onto the apples of my cheeks. The shade's really, really pretty. It's kind of like an antique rose color. It's really flattering. I feel like I've built up the color enough with my blush. I go in with another stippling brush from Coastal Scents and pick up the highlighter shade also in this palette. This one's so pretty. It's so glistening. Pick up a little bit, touch it down the bridge of my nose, onto my forehead, kind of following that same shape I created with the highlight concealer. And then instead of going on directly on my cheekbones, I like to smile and kind of touch it right on the front of my apples of my cheeks. The same thing on the other side, smile. Kind of layer it on there. And I like doing that just because I feel it's kind of a more flattering look. When I put it right on my cheekbone, I feel like it just kind of looks like it's a beam, especially since normally people are looking at me straight on instead of to the side of my face. So I just think this is a little bit more flattering. And I just take a little bit of it and apply it on my Cupid's bow here and my chin. So I baked, I contoured, I applied blush, and I highlighted, and this is the finished product. Definitely very healthy looking and glowy. Hopefully you take something away with you from this video. Kind of opens up your eyes to the importance of baking, especially if you want your concealer to be locked in and super strong all day long. The texture is really super smooth after you bake. So that is my how to bake, contour, highlight, blush video. I hope you enjoyed it.